Here are the answers to the 4 points that you graphed. In particular, what I'd like to make sure that you know how to graph are the points 3, 0, which would be over here on the x-axis, and you don't go up any. You would stay right there because the value of y is 0, which means you neither go up nor down. The other value would be something like 0, 3. 0, 3 means for x you don't go left or right, but you would go 3 units up. So the point 0, 3 would be up 3 units on the y-axis. One of those values or something similar to it will be on your test. One of them is also on your practice test, so you'll have an opportunity to try those. The next thing we're going to do is talk about solutions of equations. All a solution is an ordered pair, a value of x and y, which makes the equation be true. Remember, an equation is something that on both sides just says that two things are equal. So if we were asked to determine if minus 5, 7 is a solution of the equation 2x plus 3y is equal to 18, what we would do is use something called substitution. That is, for every variable, which means a letter, replace every letter by a set of parentheses. After you do that, then you put the value of x in the proper spot where the x value is, and you put the value of y in the proper spot where the y value is. After that, you go through and solve it using the order of operations. If you get the same number on both sides, it's equal and it's true, and that ordered pair is a solution. If the numbers on both sides are not equal, then that ordered pair is not a solution or not an answer to the equation. So we're going to go back again to minus 5 and 7 to try to find out if it's a solution. So we take our equation 2x plus 3y is equal to 18. The first step was to replace all the letters by a parentheses. So we put the parentheses after the 2 and the parentheses after the 3. The 2 and the x side by side means that they're multiplied together. So when we have that parentheses there, it indicates that there's multiplication as well. And the same for the 3y. In our ordered pair, the first value is x. That's a minus 5. So we look to see where the x is. It happens to be the first thing, so we put it in its hole. Then we look at the second value, which is y is equal to 7 in our ordered pair, and we find where the y is, and it goes over here after the 3. So we're going to put it right here. We go through with our order of operations then. 2 times negative 5 is negative 10. 3 times 7 is 21. Negative 10 plus 21 is 11, but 11 is not equal to 18. That means that negative 5 and 7, that ordered pair, is not a solution to our equation. Our next ordered pair we're going to try is 3, 4. Is 3, 4 a solution? We do the same thing. For x and y, we put parentheses. We look to see where the x is, and we're going to find the value of x. It's the first one, so it goes in the first hole. We look and see where the y is. It's a value of 4, and it goes in the second hole. So 2 times 3 is 6, 3 times 4 is 12, and 6 and 12 is equal to 18. So therefore, 3 and 4 is a solution because both sides are equal. What I'd like you to do is try the same process as the previous page. So you're going to try negative 1 and 1 and try to find if it's a solution for that equation, and the same thing for negative 1, 2. What I'd like to point out, I've worked them out for you down below, when you try it, is the x right here is the thing that we're replacing. So it gets replaced by a set of parentheses. That negative doesn't belong to the x, so it stays on the outside of the parentheses. The value of x for this one was negative 1. So you don't pay any attention to what the signs are outside. You replace just the letter by a parentheses and then put the number into the equation. So that'll help you when you go to try these two. So I'd like you to stop the video right now and try these two equations and make sure that you understand how to do them. Hopefully you had a chance to go ahead and pause the video and try these two problems here and find out the first one was the solution and the second one isn't. On your practice test number 4, problem number 2 is the same kind of problem that we're trying here. And that problem, y is equal to negative 2x minus 3. And if you don't have your practice test 4 out, you might want to pause the video and grab it. Now that you've got your practice test, then you see on this particular equation that y is on the left of the x. So on this equation, the -5 for problem 2a is going to go first, and the 1 is going to follow that -2. So you just have to pay attention to where the x's and y's are. Regardless of where they are, the first value in an ordered pair is always x, so it goes where the x was, and the second value is the y value, and it goes where the y value is. You might want to go ahead and try those problems on practice test 4, problems 2a, b, and c, and make sure that you know how to do them. You also have some homework problems that are stated in the same manner. You'll note that in the first section, in the review chapter that we did the first week, that we had a notation which was parentheses -3, 5. What that was used for was interval notation on a real number line, which meant a single number line, and it included all the points between -3 and 5, but not the -3 and not the 5. Unless we state otherwise for the rest of this chapter, anytime we talk about something that looks like this notation, it's going to mean the ordered pair where x is a -3 and y is equal to a 5. Instead of trying to take an ordered pair and guess whether it's going to be a solution or not, we're going to learn how to graph equations. The first thing that I would suggest that you do is make a table like I have right here. A crossbar, a t-crossbar, and label one side x and one side y. Then what we do is we do one, not both of these. We choose a value for x and then calculate what y is, or we choose a value for y and then calculate x. What we want to do is do the step 2 3 times and plot the 3 points. So you would really only need to have 2 points, because remember, any 2 points make a straight line, but because we have 3 points, 3 or more is better, because if we have 3 points and they're on a straight line, we're pretty certain that our equation is right. If we only do 2, one of the 2 could have an error in it, but the third serves as the check. And then finally what we do is we connect the dots of the points that we have and make sure that they fall on a straight line. So that's how you graph it. We'll take an answer. Or we take a problem and try it. And if those points don't line up, then you need to recheck your work. So let's try an equation like x plus y is equal to 5. So we're going to draw our t-bar. The numbers that you see underlined and in blue are calculated. The numbers that are in black without an underline are the ones that I chose. You too can choose whatever numbers you want. It doesn't matter. You could choose 100, you could choose 1,000. Just remember that the size of your graphs is kind of going to determine how big you want it. So I chose x is equal to 0. So if x is 0, I know that the value of y has to be 5 in order to add the two together and get 5. So when x is 0, the only time this equation is going to be true is when y is equal to 5. If x is a 1, then y has to be 4 in order to make that equation be true. If x is 2, y has to be 3. If x is -5, this one's a little bit harder, y would have to be 10. But you can see that you could pick any points that you want to, as long as the 2 points, when added together, add to 5. There are an infinite number of solutions to this equation. Any point that you pick is fine. They don't have to be the same points that I pick. So what you might want to do is, if you haven't had a chance for this to soak in and assure yourself you know how to choose a point, then you might want to stop the video and at this point and go through this t-bar chart and make sure that you understand how the numbers go. So now that I have my 4 points there, I'm going to plot my points in the graph. So I go to the left, -5 and up 10. There's my first point. 0, 5 means I don't go left to right, but I go up 5 units. 1, 4 means I go right 1, up 4. And 2, 3 means I go right 2, up 3. I connect the dots and we can see that they make a straight line. We're going to try another one now, which is y is equal to x plus -2. And I think at this point what I'm going to do is stop the video right here and give you a chance to try that problem that we had above. And on your practice test, problem 3, A, B, and C are like this as well, but I might suggest that you wait until we try this problem here before you go ahead in the textbook.